Hello, everybody. Welcome to my channel, and thank you for joining. Now, in today's episode, we got the best super coach player on the planet joining us right now. We've got this young man. His name is Jack Mayoh, and as you can see him below, very handsome young man. Okay, now we were talking about dress codes before we started, and he asked me should he be wearing a his Guernsey for the football. I just said wear anything, but just don't be naked, okay? Because the girls are going to go very crazy when they see his handsome looks. Now we're going to ask him in case there's any ladies out there checking out the channel. Now, Jack, is there any ladies in your life? Are we do we have girlfriends, or are we available just in case the girls are interested? Okay, because you're going to have $50,000 cash soon, hopefully, and you're going to be a very rich young man, so they might want to go for an overseas trip with you, maybe. So we're just going to ask you: is there any ladies in your life?
Taken man, Abs. Recently engaged. So, yeah, you know what they say: behind every great man, there's a greater woman. So, very happy.
That's great news. That's great. Well, we got money now for the wedding. Hopefully, once we've got the wedding plans, or the missus is going to start looking at some reception centers. Hopefully, very soon. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to go through the, young Jack's team because it looks sensational. We're going to go through this now, and then we're going to work out how we got to this stage. So let me go on to the different screen now and look at Jack's team now. We've got to work out how to do this. Okay, we'll go into here. All right, here we go. Now, in defense, we have here Whitfield, Sheezels, and Zorko, the magnificent, who's not been very magnificent lately. We've also got Roberts. We've held on to Roberts. It's a good thing. We've got Bice here, and we've got Carroll. Now, Carroll is probably our weakest link right now at D6. So we're going to work out a plan what to do with Carroll in a minute. On the bench, we are struggling. Okay, now we're not here to judge because I know my bench, there's no players there also, so it's a tough year for the bench this year. So you sort of got to get the lottery right with the rookies. So we've got Stone that just got dropped, and Leak got injured. So very unfortunate for a young man. Now in the midfield,
Full of Spuds.
yes. Now in this midfield, this is sensational. We got the Bonds. He's got the Bont. This is a rich club. Okay, now Spicy Mayo is a very, very high class rich club coming from the Toorak area, out of the Melbourne suburbs of Toorak. Now we've got the Bont, and we've got Brayshaw, and we've got Nick Dacos. This is huge. We've got Dawson, Chera, Callahan. We've also got Chad Warner, and we've got Maric. Okay, now this is huge. What a midfield. Okay, this is magnificent. In the ruck line, we have Gorn. We have the Conning. Now, going back to that midfield, the bench. Okay, we're going to talk about the bench because it's a very touchy topic right now, the bench, but we're going to talk about it anyway. We got Gross here. Now, very unfortunate for you, young man. I mean, you picked Gross. I picked Gross. Okay, we thought he was going to play. He got dropped. Unbelievable. Okay, now we've got Huswaite. Great pickup last week. And you've held on to Camporeale, which is interesting. So we're hoping that the young Campo gets a game at Carlton. So you're a very loyal player, holding on to your players, because I couldn't hold on to Campo. I had to get rid of him, and I'm sort of going to regret it if he comes back. So for your sake, I hope the young Campo does come back for you. In the ruck line, we got Gorn, who we had as captain last week. So you captain Gorn. Who did you vice captain? You vice captain Brayshaw. Brilliant, because if Brayshaw, yeah, that was a good one.
No, the Brayshaw VC was extremely last second. Wasn't in my thinking at all the whole week. I was sort of tossing up my trades last week and flip-flopping back and forth. And I sort of, on Friday night, I was actually, instead of trading in Bond, I had Neil in my team and Petrarca over Warner. And with that, I was sort of unsure on who to VC. I was maybe thinking VC Max into Zorko, but yeah, I sort of woke up Saturday morning and wanted to go a bit dicey and ended up bringing in Bont and Warner instead, but already sort of wasted the VC on Brayshaw. So yeah, the Brayshaw VC I didn't love, but it kind of just gave me a reason to watch St Kilda Freo, because it was a bit of a boring game in my eyes. So yeah,
Yes, it was.
to keep me entertained a little bit.
Well, you did really well because having Brayshaw as VC, I mean, if Brayshaw went, say, 130, you would have missed out on Gawn's 200. So a lot of people vice-captained Sherry, for example, and they got their 150 and they were happy. But when they saw Gawn's 198, they weren't very happy anymore. So it actually worked out absolutely perfect for you. So that was a good VC option. Sometimes the VCs, you can pick a left field player and hope that they either go 160 or an 80. All right, so that's probably your best option as long as you got a safe captain to fall to, and you got one. So Gawn was sensational for you. You got the Conning, and I got him as well. It's so frustrating, the Conning. And are you planning on keeping the Conning? We're going to talk about your plans later on, but what are your plans with the Conning? Are you a very unhappy customer, or are you sort of a he's been good to us for the first 7 weeks. So at least he's been decent, but just last week he let us down.
At the moment, I'm thinking about keeping De Koning for the rest of the season, but not owning Sherry at the moment is extremely scary. And every time I watch a North game, I'm dreading watching Sherry rack up the points. So it's definitely a tough antipod. Ideally, I don't know how I'm going to get there with the lack of cash gem, but I'd love to get Sherry going in the flex spot at some point.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
But
I mean,
yeah, plan is to keep De Koning.
Yeah, well, virtually you're only missing one player, and that's Sherry. There's not many players that you miss. You're missing, if you're talking best of the best, you're probably missing Butters and Sherry. That's about it. So you've got everyone else. So you've avoided players that I've got in my team like Sinclair. You've avoided those all those low scores, and you can always jump on Sinclair when he's cheap now, and that's if you want to jump on him. It doesn't matter. But I looked at Sherry. I avoided him as well, and I wish I hadn't. I wish I had got him earlier, but at least he looks decent now. But in your forward line, we're going to look at your forward line now because you've got Warner that can move to the forward line. You've also got Mudich that can move to your forward line. So you've actually got 7 forwards in your team, which is actually a good thing. You've got room to play with. And you've got the Horny Mans there. You've got Rankin there. You've got Smith there, McRae and Caleb Daniels. So pretty much everyone's the same forward line as most people. But I've noticed you started with a 99K non-playing rookie. Now, this is a shock because a lot of teams, I know last year's winner didn't have any non-playing rookies, but the previous year's winner did. So it changes. So it's a gamble having a 99K rookie, but hopefully we can get, well, you got Hewitt there as well. So that's a good thing. And Peyton, hopefully he comes back. But was there any strategy with the 99K rookie you started with? Was there you just wanted to have a loop player? Is that what it was?
Actually, with that 99K rookie, it sort of comes back to what I said earlier. It was that Galbin guy, I think that's his name. I bought him in last week with Bont and Warner. I used my last boost on Bont and Warner, but I only had 110K left. Originally, I was planning on the 99K player being Sandy Brock, and then looping the GWS defender Connor Stone to my forward line. However, because I was tossing and turning with my trades and I had Neil up until a certain point, I believe I missed the West Coast game, or there was some reason, or maybe something in the defense got locked, meaning I couldn't bring in a 99K defender and I could only bring in a 99K middle forward. And then going off my structure, I just went for that 99K forward as a loop. I was originally planning on maybe bringing in that midfielder for GWS who got a debut game, but I kind of thought to myself, he's probably not going to make much cash, and Hewitt was going crazy, so I kind of wanted to loop him. I finished 30th overall last year. That was sort of best I ever did, and last week when I was ranked 37th, I kind of thought to myself, oh geez, I really want to try and push and beat what I finished overall. That's the highest I've ever been ranked. So I kind of prep myself up for a bit of a big week this week, and that's sort of why I brought in that 99k loop forward, just so I could loop Hewitt in my team and hopefully get a good score this week.
Yeah, ranked 30 last year. That's sensational. And so the teams at the top end should start to panic right now because they've got a professional on their hands, ranking 30 last year and coming first this year. You're a very scary prospect for all the other teams, I'd say. Now, we're having a look at your rankings from last year, and you were actually competing with myself, okay, because I was ranked very similar to yourself last year, but for some reason my Spuds didn't take the journey and continue, but your guns, okay, they continued. So we can see here, by round 8, same time as last year, you were ranked 178, so you've actually improved that to number 1 now. And from last year, you kept the 100 ranking until after the bye rounds, and then you went 80, 47, 51. You kept going down, and eventually to the top 30. That is absolutely sensational, and I'm very proud of you, young man. And to do this 2 years back to back in the top 30 is almost unheard of because the odds 200,000 teams are competing, and to do it twice in 2 years. It's an unbelievable achievement. So I just want to say congratulations, and many people would be awe of you for this achievement and accomplishment.
Oh, thank you, Abs. Appreciate it. Definitely gotten a bit lucky with some of my picks over the last couple of years. Not too much, though, with rookies, though, this year.
Yes. Well, we're going to improve that. A lot of teams are struggling with the rookies, so don't worry about the rookies now. Now, we're going to move on to some trades for this year now. I'm going to go through some of the thought process, all right, of your trades. We're going to start from round 1, okay? Now, we're going to discuss your trades this year, all right? We're going to start off from end of round 1, all right? I'm going to look at your ranking, all right? So end of round 1, you were ranked 17,336. Now, at the end of that ranking, at any stage, did it cross your mind that 7 weeks later you'll be ranked number 1? Did it ever cross your mind?
No, not at all. Couldn't have dreamt of it. The goal for this year was sort of, I don't know, maybe finish top 100 again if possible, but never really thought number 1 was on the cards with so many professionals like yourself to compete against Abs.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure about the word professional, but with professional Spuds at Abs Magic. But let's go to your trades now. All right. Now look at it here, round 2. We've used the boost. All right. We've traded out Perryman, Flynn, and Hasty. Now Flynn got dropped. Flynn, did he get dropped in the second game, or did he play? Did he play round 2? No, he got dropped. Hasty got dropped, and Perryman didn't perform in round 2. So we traded them, all 3 of them out. And we brought in De Conning. You brought in Levi Ashcroft, which was a massive good move by you, because he was going to be what's it called, a sub, was the rumor, but then last minute he played, so you probably didn't start him for that reason. And you brought in O'Driscoll. Now, is there any reason you saw straight away? Was this a 2-week plan or was this a 1-week plan for you?
So at the start of the year, I probably tried to seek a little bit too much value with my team, and I went a little bit crazy with underpriced premiums and probably mid prices, I suppose, compared to traditional guns like your Butters, Bond, Merritt, Whitfield, Sinclair's. I probably overstacked the team with middle guys, and then my plan was, you've got 40 trades, try and pick as many good mid prices as possible, and the ones that don't pan out, trade them quickly. So round 2, that first boost I used, truth be known, I actually hated the Sam De Koning pick all preseason. And the only reason I brought him in is a couple of my friends had him and they were making fun of me in the group chat after he went massive in round 1 in the ruck. So I had a bit of FOMO on that one. Got rid of Perryman because, I saw that maybe he didn't have that nailed on midfield role that we saw in round 0. I think it was in round 1 where he's sort of scoring around that 90 mark and they were shuffling him around. So I didn't really like that. Levi Ashcroft, I did like all preseason, but similar to yourself, Abs, I wanted to start cheap rookies. I think with my starting team, my most expensive rookie, I believe, might have been Sardis, and then below Sardis, it was Murphy Reed. So really liked Levi Ashcroft because, his brother Will, absolute gun. But kind of saw he was a sub, and I thought, Sardis is a bit more nailed on, so he can be my one expensive rookie. And then Nathan O'Driscoll, I saw him in a lot of teams, but I kind of just, I've seen him play with Freo before, and I thought, is he going to go bananas? I don't know. I think I prefer some other options. But then, quickly saw that Nathan O'Driscoll was getting a fair bit of the footy, had a pretty good role. And once I saw Levi, he's just as good as his brother, I thought, geez, these two are going to make a lot of cash. Don't muck around. I didn't start other popular rookies that look to be tracking well, like Nevitt, Lindsay, and maybe a couple of others. So I thought, get the good on-score fields with Ashcroft and Levi, and Sam de Koning kind of suited my structure at that time, taking out Perryman. So that was sort of my thoughts with those ones.
Now, what happened is from rank 17,000, you moved up to 3,900. Okay, so we've pushed up the ranks now a lot higher. You're in the top 2% right now. So it's time to make some more trades. Now, before we discuss your trades, how many players in your starting team were valued over 600K? Now, I think you had Gorn. Was there anyone else?
Yeah, so I started Harry Sheasel. Zorko was 598 from memory, so not him. None of the midfielders were over 600K, and Max Gorn. So I was really keen on Sherry most of the preseason, but then I really liked that early matchup that Gorn had against Lockie O'Keefe, Giants round 1. So again, I was a bit greedy. I was a bit of a greedy guts and wanted a super hot start, thinking, oh my God, Gorn could go 180 on Lockie Keefe. That's why I ended up going Gorn in my starting team.
Well, there probably was regrets for the first couple of weeks, and then after that, all the regrets are gone now. So he's made up for the lost ground. So you did well with that trade. Now, let's go to your round 2 trades. I'm going to go into round 2. All right. Where is it? It's over here. You gave me the screenshot. Here we go. Round 3 trades. We've used another boost. Okay, so you're acting like me now. Okay, going boost crazy. Now, this is this for the record is a top team using 3 boosts in the first 3 rounds. Okay, so it's not a bad thing to do. You can see it's worked. Now, we've traded out Will Ashcroft. Okay, so Will Ashcroft's gone. Okay, Garcia's out, and Tasatsis has left the building. Okay, now, and we brought in Whitfield, Nevitt, and Lindsay. Now, please, let's just your thought process on the Will Ashcroft trade outs.
Yeah, well, I was really tossing up between Will Ashcroft, Adam Chera, Connor Rozee, or Finn Callahan. One of those 4 to trade out as I think, you've touched on it a few times at the start of the season. The defenders were going nuts. Yep. And I really wanted to fix up my structure. And I didn't start Lockie Whitfield due to his early buy, but in my mind, he was D1 by a fair bit. I really liked Whitfield at the back end of last year, and I think I owned him and just love watching him. So really wanted to just fix up my structure, as I thought I was one midfielder too heavy and lacking one primo defender. Why I traded out Will Ashcroft is he had a stinker. The first week, I think he scored like a 60 or 70, and then he bounced back for me. He scored 100, but at the time, Callahan was flying, Rosie was flying, Chera was being really consistent. So even though off the back of the ton, I just needed to fix the structure really, and I thought, I don't know about Will Ashcroft's role. From memory, I don't think he was getting a huge amount of CBAs, and I didn't know how sustainable he was and if he was going to make much cash, because I kind of viewed Will Ashcroft, Chera, Callahan as sort of placeholders until the buys, hoping that they would sit around that 5 to 520 mark and then upgrade them for more solid primos like your Bont, Butters, Brayshaws.
Yep. Now, we go to round 4. Now, You actually remind me of me, okay? Because when you bring a player in, if he's not good, he goes out. Okay, now if we, because that's what I do. All right, that's my
Oh, it
philosophy.
was a disaster. Yeah, it was
If I
a
don't
shock.
like, I bring him in and I take him out. Okay, so there's no mercy at Abs Magic, and obviously at your club there's no mercy either. So it looks like the following week, actually, let's have a look at your ranking now. You've gone well. You actually went backwards a little bit. All right, you went to 4,600, so you went up 700 spots backwards. Okay, but doesn't matter. All right, now, but now in round one, sorry, round two, you brought in Sam DeConning. Now in round three, you traded. So in round four, you traded him out. In round three, you brought in Nevitt and Lindsay. In round four, you traded both of them out. Okay, so they didn't last long at your
It
club.
was a
So
shocking
it
news.
was straight at the door. Okay, just but you brought in some big players. Okay, now this was the move I think that's got you to the top.
Yeah.
Okay, this was your round. You brought in Smith. Okay, he came in. You brought in Maric and you brought in Bice. Now you may have wasted a trade bringing in a couple of players, but you corrected yourself and you brought in three players that have virtually shaped your season now. And well, I'll let you explain these moves now.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, as I mentioned before, I was never really sold on Sam DeConning, and it was more so because my friends were making fun of me, and I had some FOMO, and then I think his role went away, and I kicked myself. I said I knew he was a dud pick, so I didn't want to sit on it. I think Supercoach over the last couple of years, you've got to be pretty aggressive. How I like to play, I suppose. So I just didn't want to sit on Sam DeConning, didn't like his role and what he was producing, so flicked him off quickly. And then Lindsay and Nevitt, I believe Lindsay got injured, and it was sort of
Yes.
unconfirmed if it was sort of going to be like a 1-2 week thing, or I don't know if I knew the timeline at the time. And I think again, Nevitt got injured or something funny happened. Maybe it was a sub or something funny was going on with Nevitt, like typical Chris Scott. I think
Yeah.
wasn't being
I
super.
think he got dropped from memory. I think they dropped him. They
Yeah.
didn't mention he had an injury, so it was a good move because he hasn't done nothing since. Okay, he's on the same price still, so nothing has changed. So they were good moves.
So yeah, like I just sort of needed to cut those rookies. So they made me like no cash. I think they're about 40 to 50K each. But the players I brought in, Bice just looks like a really nice, easy cash cow. So locked him in. And then I didn't start Bailey Smith. I was similar to you. I kind of thought Geelong typically don't have great scorers from my memory. And I didn't know if he was going to get subbed off the back of his ACL or maybe played at the wing, half forward. And then, he's pumping out these big scores and pulling my hair out. So I thought, oh, geez, I got to bring in Bailey Smith just to stick with the competition, really. I'm a Hawthorn fan, so, I don't like cheering on the Cats or anything like that. But I thought, got to get him at the price by the looks of it. And then Marriage was it was out of him and Humphrey. I was really tossing up out of those two, but sort of the way I looked at it is you've got Noah Anderson, Matt Rao, they're locked in Banana A, Banana B. And then you've got some other good midfielders at the Gold Coast that, Sam Flanders, Tuke Miller. I'm sure they've got a couple more that probably rotate through there, but I know Humphrey was going massive, but I didn't know how sustainable it was, I suppose, because I think he was kicking a couple of goals and he was having these really good contested possession games. But I just thought, I don't know if I'm a true believer. And then I kind of thought Marriage just has such a juicy role for Supercoach. If it can sustain, the big thing is, are they going to change it? But I kind of thought, I want to take the punt on him. If he's taking the kickouts at West Coast, playing the loose half-back role, West Coast most weeks are probably going to have a fair bit of the ball down there. So I thought, it's probably a fairly low floor with a high ceiling, Marriage. And I think I missed one of his big games and got him not at the basement price, but he was valued at about 260. But I thought, I quite like him. I'll go for the punt. But
it's worked out well. So you won that toss for sure. So I mean, your first 3 rounds, even though you've lost Will Ashcroft, you've done that for a reason to fix up your your structure. So there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you have to give to take. Yeah. So you've done that and you brought in Whitfield. So it's not a loss because as you said, the other players were decent. You couldn't get rid of all of them. Like in my case, I got rid of Chera to do this move, and that backfired on me as well. So but for you it worked out. Even though Ashcroft still plays well, you had to fix up your structure. That was more important. And your first 3 weeks, your first 9 trades, even though 2 of them, or 3 of them, you've sideways them back out again, it actually worked out for you. So sometimes you just waste 3 trades, but it's worth it because you nailed the players you need. So it actually worked for you. Now let's move on now. Now with these trades, you've now in the top 1,000. You're ranked 986. Okay, so now we're moving places. Okay, now we're getting into the top 1%. And I'm going to screenshot now your next set of trades, and these are round 5. Now we didn't use a boost here. Now these are very interesting trades, all right. And these are game-changing trades. You've done the same as me with this trade as well in round 5. Now you've gotten rid of Rosie and O'Driscoll, and you brought in Hall and Brayshaw. Okay, let's explain it to me. This one now.
Yeah. Well, I was really tossing up Callahan or Rosie, who to get rid of. I could have made the same trades, brought in Brayshaw, but Rosie wasn't going too well, and it was before we knew that he was going to get played at halfback against Hawthorn, and I just didn't know if I really saw it with Rosie, and I thought, oh, look, Callahan's not going amazing right now, but he's got the same role. They're still sticking him in the midfield. He's just had a couple of rough games, gotten tags. So I think I believe in him a little bit more. So that's why I traded out Rosie. Brayshaw, when watching Fremantle, I really liked his game, what I was seeing early this season. Him and Sarong were valued both at 590 at the time. But I just thought, Brayshaw was my man this season. I'm a big Andy Brayshaw guy.
Same as me.
Seemed to be getting a lot of ball on the outside when Sarong was sort of just going in and under. So I thought maybe he's got a few different avenues compared to Sarong when it comes to scoring points. And really enjoy watching Andy. So that's sort of why I went for Andy, I suppose. And I think Clay Hall was the rookie I bought in, and I just kind of thought, oh, West Coast not going too well. Hopefully he can just stay in the team, make some money. Unfortunately, he didn't make too much money.
No, and he's been dropped ever since. Now, in round 5, you've now moved up the rankings to the top 500. We're now moving places, okay? Now, your best move actually comes on this round. This is the magical round, okay? And this is the money round. We've traded out Reed at 294K. Now that was and we traded Davidson. Okay, they're both gone. Although we know in hindsight maybe Reed is a good player now, but we've traded him out because at the time he didn't score much that week, and we brought in now Dacos at 584K. That's a good, and he scored 170 that week from memory, and we brought in Gross. So explain. Well, I think this is. Not much to explain with this one, but if you want anything to add to this, you can add to it.
Yeah, I think it was really just Reed and Davidson. I thought Reed had a bit more money to make, but I kind of thought he's done his job as a rookie. Now seems like the perfect time to bring in Dacos. Those two out, Dacos in, I think he'll be top 8. I wasn't smart enough to VC Dacos that week. But I kind of thought, Dacos in.
He went nuts.
I do wish I held Zach Reed. But.
Yeah, and now you've moved up to the rankings. You're now in the top 70 now. Now you've really travelled, and you've had a massive week. Top 7. You've had the 1,200th highest score of the week as well. So that's a huge ranking climb. You've also topped the charts with your cash flow. You've gone up to 12 mil now, 11.9 mil. So you're doing good. And it's time to trade again. And you've decided to use your boost. Okay, so we haven't used the boost for 2 weeks. You've saved your boost for 2 weeks. Okay, because your team is traveling well. You're in the top 70.
Yep.
And you've now traded out Trainer, Hall, who we just brought in 2 weeks before, but he stopped. I did the same thing. He's gone. Henderson, I also traded him out. He's gone. And we brought in Flynn, Huswaite, and Carroll. Now,
Yes.
am I in the right round? Round 7. You're ranked 70 there. Are you ranked 38 now with these trades? Or you ranked?
No, I think I was ranked 70th with those.
You were ranked
trades.
70, yeah?
Yeah, I think I was ranked 70th, and then after that week it came in 38.
38. Yes, you're right. Yep. Okay, so explain it to me now these trades now. I mean, they're rookies, and you brought in virtually Huswaite. Was that his first game, or that was his first game? So you brought him on his first game.
I bought Huswaite in before he played a game. I bought him in before, like when he was due to play his first game. Yeah, before he even got one score in his system. Being a Hawthorn supporter, I guess I have a little bit of belief in Huss. I'm not massive on Josh Ward personally, so I kind of thought, if Huswaite gets in this team, there's a chance that he might stay in there for a while, even if it's as a sub. And Nash being out 4 weeks, I kind of thought he's going to have a good role. I'll back him in to sort of make at minimum 100K, because I really thought he could probably do 70 plus. But the reason why I boosted here was sort of forward thinking. So it's a weird boost, right? Like kind of a triple, 2 downgrades, dead rookies, and then trainer to Flynn. Again, Flynn sort of mucked up my plans doing that 140. He burnt me in the opening round. I had to try and get rid of him and shuffle my team around. And then I thought, oh my God, I need to bring him back in. So I kind of triple downgraded. And then my thinking was the week after, we're going to do a double upgrade. It ended up being Bont and Warner, but sort of it was originally planned that I didn't know Clary was going to be out. So it was going to be Marriage that I was looking to trade, but sort of did the triple downgrade thinking this week we'll try and get some rookies playing and bring in Flynn, and then we can go set ourselves up big for the week after.
Yeah, and so you did, because from rank 70 you went to rank 38. Okay, with these trades, so you did really well. And then the big one, the one that got you to rank number 1, which was last week's trades, and Oliver left the building. We've lost Ashcroft's, okay, and you've also lost Reed. This is
that's Zach Reed.
Murphy Reed, yeah. Yes.
First trade a few weeks ago was Murphy Reed. That one's Zach Reed. That's right.
That's Zach Reed. Okay, all right.
Yeah, sorry, that's my fault as well.
I got confusion just then, but yeah. So these players left the building, and when we brought in, which we discussed before, Gubin, Warner, and the Bont came in. Now, explain to me why you want to spend 680K on the Bont, which actually looks quite cheap now because his price actually went up. So explain these moves for me, young man.
Yeah, honestly, I thought rank 38. Bond's a bit of a pod right now. A lot of people are going to bring him in post-buy. I really just want to try and push, see where I can go. So I thought Bond might be a good one over the next month, and he's a pretty safe VC or C option most weeks, along with Gawn. And, when you're watching a Dogs game, right, like, owning Bont makes it that much better, I think, because he just racks up points. So I couldn't resist, even though maybe it wasn't the most sensible thing to do. I was really sold on like Neil and Petrarca instead of Bont and Warner. But again, I think Chad's sort of similar to Bont. Like when you watch Sydney and Warner's on, you're just like, oh my God, right? Like owning Warner when he's on, it's great. So decided to go risky. It was, it probably, if you crunch the numbers and stats, it probably, I don't know if it would stack up, but I thought sometimes you just got to, let it fly a little bit, be a bit unique.
Yeah. You can't always go by the book, all right? Sometimes you got to write your own rules in between the rules. So although sometimes value is always the key, sometimes also owning the best players helps. So you getting Bont early now means that a lot of teams have to fork out 700K for Bont after his bye. So you got the bond for an extra 4 weeks before they can even land the bond. So I think I looked before, he was only 10% owned, so hardly anyone owns him. And even in the top 100 teams, there's not many that have him. So, and for the top team to have him, it's warning bells for all the other teams. They're going to be scared right now looking at your team. So that's very impressive, young man. And to be honest, I never knew that you were ranked 30. I was going to ask you what's your best ranking before this, but now that you tell me you're top 30, you're one of the legends in this Supercoach. I mean, we should have you up in the experts panel on the Herald Sun. So I'm going to talk to Al Payton and mention your name and get him to have a chat with you, because to finish 30th and then to come first the following year is just unheard of. Okay? I don't think it's possible. So, but you've just shown that it is possible. So well done, young man. And it's been an absolute pleasure having you on our channel. Now, before we go, we want to discuss your trade plans. Let me prop up your team. Okay, so here is your team. Okay, now the viewers are now you don't have to give too much away, by the way, because we know there is the second rank and the third rank and all the other ranked teams are watching this, are going to watch this, and they're your arch rivals right now. So you've got some competition there, and but what are your trade plans going forward for this week? What do you think? Obviously they could change. Okay, it doesn't mean they're going to be the exact ones because you're going to wait for the team sheets. Well, what do you think you'll be doing this week?
Well, yeah, I've sort of got to be, what do you say, Abs? Shopping at Aldi this week, I think, after spending all my money on bot last week. So yeah, no, I've got to be quite conservative, I suppose. But initial thoughts for this week, I'm thinking about flicking Matt Flynn. I don't know if he holds. He might. I don't know, but I kind of think it might be time for Flynn to go from my team anyway, just for structure. Matt Flynn and Connor Stone out, and then that means I can push Carroll to the bench, move Bice to D6, and then rookies. I'm probably just going to go Boxall. I thought he played pretty well for Saints. Again, I'll see if he gets named, but again, it's sort of rolling the dice going early. I think I saw in the news that Erasmus is in, but I don't know, like if I really love Erasmus. I don't know if I think he's going to stick around forever. They had a few ins and outs, so I don't know if he's definitely Hayden Young's replacement. So thinking Boxall in, and then it leaves me with about 480k, wanting to bring in a defender. I was looking at Bailey Dale, but now they've got he's had this big controversy with Willie Riola. He might be too scared to leave his hotel and not play the game. So I was thinking Bailey Dale originally. I had Bailey Dale last year, and I sort of know your thoughts on Bailey Dale, that he sort of runs a little bit hot and cold. And
Yes.
Yeah, so...
He's on my never again list, Bailey Dale, because of last year. He upset me so much, and every time I was challenging to go inside I was in a top 80 last year, similar to yourself. And every time I wanted to challenge myself to get into the top 50 or top 40, someone let me down. It was usually Dale or someone else. So and Dale was the main culprit, so he got me so upset. So I said never again. So but it doesn't mean that he's going to do it this year. Yeah. So you never know with Dale. So I don't want to give you any ideas, because whatever you're doing it perfectly. So I can't be here to give you any advice. I'm here to ask you for advice because I need help. Just come and help.
So yeah, I'm either thinking Dale, or maybe for a bit of a pod again, it might be a bit of bias from me, but I was sort of looking at his scores, and I thought, oh geez, like he hasn't been going as bad as what I thought. James Sicily, from what I've noticed, they've kind of stopped throwing him forward over the last few weeks. And I know he's had a couple of stinkers, don't get me wrong, but when he was putting up, when he had a poor game against Geelong, West Coast, I think his lowest score for the year, it's 75. It's not disastrous. And then he's had a few scores like 110 plus as well. So I kind of thought, geez, maybe Sis is a bit of value. We sort of know what he can do over the last couple of years. I don't know. I think Sis is pretty risky, but the only concern I've got with Sis is, they've got a lot of ball users down back with Hawthorn, like Amon, Scrimshaw. Battle seems to be getting a fair bit of the ball. So that's why I'm a little bit hesitant on Sicily. But then I look at the Dogs and it kind of seems like Fraser's playing more full-time mid now. Ed Richards seems to be playing full-time mid. Adam Trelaw seems to move to the forward line. So that's why I'm sort of leaning Bailey Dale at this point, just because then I can run Bicep D6. The midfield, it'll just be sort of like Elijah Hewitt and Huswaite as my rookies.
Yeah, that you've got an awesome team. And now, have you ever considered Marshall at all? Has he come into your considerations?
I've seen some people sort of mention him over this week. Honestly, I don't watch a lot of Saints games, and I haven't been looking at him. But I don't think so for me, Rowan Marshall. I think he might be a little bit. I've already got enough roller coaster players with Dawson, Warner, Callahan, even Chera. So I think Marshall's probably a pass for me. And ideally, I'd love to get Sherry in at some point. So, and I've got before trading this week, I've got 21 trades. So I don't really want to burn a couple on someone that I don't see keeping for the rest of the season.
Yeah, you're like myself. You used all your trades virtually. Yeah, you haven't. I've seen your trade. You've done exactly what I've done. So you've got all your boosts are gone, all your trades are gone. But the main thing is you're at number one. Okay, so if people say how many trades you have left, you can say, look, I'm at number one. It doesn't matter. Okay, so you reach the top of the mountain. So that's the main thing. Now, do we have plans for this cash generation? Because you're gonna have a lot of people gonna ask and comment. They're gonna say because I know this is what happens in Supercoach reality. Okay, people like to comment and they're gonna say that your cash generation there isn't much, but what they have and they're gonna be right. Okay, but that's not the point. The point is you're at the top. Okay. And you've got the best players already. You're only missing a few of them. There's not many that you're missing. You've almost finished your team. Okay, so in regards to cash, I'm looking at your team now. I mean, hopefully Stone can get a game, but you're gonna sack him anyways. It doesn't matter about him getting a game, but if you can get an extra 200K, and you got you didn't bring in Cleary, so that's probably
I know. I was just short of him. I really wanted to go Cleary over. Was it Gross or the other West Coast midfielder? I think it was Gross. I think Gross was priced at 113 or something, and Cleary was 124. And I really wanted Cleary, but I just couldn't get him in. And
don't worry, I've been there, I've done that. Okay, and I've missed all of the players. Don't worry about that. But I know what it's like. I mean, hindsight is a wonderful thing, yeah. If you knew who was going to play, what they were going to score, you'd get all of them, yeah. But you don't know, so you're only going with what information is at hand at the time, and you're hoping the decision is right. Because when you brought in Hall, he looked decent, yeah. When I saw Hall, I thought he was going to play for 22 rounds. I thought he'd play for sure. And when he got dropped the following week, I was shocked. And same with Gross. I thought they put Gross in; he's going to play for sure. But obviously the West Coast midfield is too strong right now, and they're a strong team. So and they're killing it in the midfield. So there's no point bringing the young players in because they might as well have the Spuds there. So they put Goff in there and other players that shouldn't be there. So anyway, we can only go with what information we got at hand. But good luck, young man, and I'm really, really happy for you. And I can't wait to see you win it this year. I hope. Well, I have my other friends, Sujuk and Eggs. I hope either you or him wins. I've got a few friends in here, but you're one of my good friends now. Okay, we've become friends, especially if you win the 50K. We're going to be buddies, okay? So we're going to go on a trip together, okay, with your fiance, your wife will probably get married then, go on a honeymoon. But good luck for the rest of the year, and I hope we can contact you again, okay? We're going to see we're going to follow your progression and hopefully have you back on the channel maybe 2 or 3 weeks out when you're at number one and going through nerves of steel because it's going to be tough. I've been there. I'll tell you, you get very nervous the last 4 or 5 weeks. So it gets very frustrating. You sort of watch football, but it becomes more paranoia that your players are going to not perform or they're going to perform. So it becomes very scary at the time. But good luck, young man. And thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks, Abs. It's been an absolute pleasure.
That's all, folks.